to live by that purpose, and the work that we have to do with ourselves, transforming inside out. Now comes transmitting that transformation to others and to encourage, to inspire others, to bring that transformation in them. And this is what leadership is. So transforming leaders is to transform a person into a leader by making them realize their strengths, by making them realize their purpose of life. And this is exactly what our next speaker has done. And in a few moments, we will have on stage Brother B.K. Nizar Juma. I would like to take this opportunity while he is coming to introduce him. So, by the time he comes, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce him. And Brother Nizar is a prominent industrial and commercial leader. He is known for his significant contributions to Africa and Canada's business landscape. And since 1968, he has led various companies, and particularly a manufacturer of Adidas sports equipments for 49 countries across Africa. And his leadership now extends to over 80 companies. And those companies are covering sectors like power generation, fiber optics, agriculture, banking, packaging, and many more. And beyond business also, Brother Nizar has played a vital role in the social welfare as the chairman of the Aga Khan Development Network. I'm sure you know about Aga Khan. So he was heading that whole development network of Aga Khan and has been recognized as Kenya's Silver Star Award for his service to the nation. And Brother Nizar interestingly began his spiritual journey 32 years ago with Brahma Kumaris. So his initial know-how of the organization was a bit different, but when he came to know that Brahma Kumaris, the organization stands on values. It does not stand on any religion. It does not stand on any ritual. It does not stand on any practice. But it stands on values, on principles. This is what inspired him to understand the organization, understand the meditation technique. And it took him some while to investigate what Brahma Kumaris and their philosophy are. And after visiting 33 centers worldwide in different countries, he adopted spirituality as a way of his living. And since then, he has not just grown as an entrepreneur, he's grown as a philanthropist, he's grown as a person who has inspired a lot of people, not just in his continent, but all across the world. Called the future of power. Not power for future, but future of power. What is the future of power? Where does power lie in future? And it was his brainchild to design this program and to conduct this program, bring together leaders from different spheres of life, and to bring them to a common platform and understand what their leadership style is, what values do they acknowledge and promote in their leadership. And the commonalities that he observed in all these discussions with leaders will be shared by him in this session with you. So what you're getting in this session is a very churned butter out of his worldwide travel and his vast experience of being a leader and creating leader and interacting with leaders. So his message to the world is very clear: to navigate the growing turmoil in the world individuals must cultivate inner spiritual power, and his involvement with Brahma Kumaris has deeply influenced his life both personally and professionally, highlighting the importance of spirituality in addressing the world's complex problems. And so, before we begin with this topic of leader, let us have a leadership activity. So I want 15 volunteers on the stage. 15 volunteers, please, stage पे आ जाइए. 15 volunteers on the stage, please. Please don't mind taking out your shoes before you come up on the stage. Okay, we have more than 15, but that's good. Please make a circle or an oval in front of the tables. Please come into a circular arrangement, sort of a circle, and we can push these tables towards the sofa. We can bring them close to the sofa and make a sort of circle. A sort of circle. Okay. Okay. You can make a bigger one. You can extend it from over there and over here. You can extend it. All of you have to observe this activity, and later on you can give your inputs. Just make a circle. Brother, close the circle, close the oval, and one of you has to be a leader. To be a leader. So leader जो बनेंगे वो बीच में आ जाएं. पहले आप बाहर आ जाइए. जो भी leader बनेंगे. Sorry, you have to be the investigator, right? And you look at that side. Don't look here for a while. Just turn that side. Don't look here at a while. And now amongst you, you have to choose a leader. So choose it silently. Anonymous. I mean, just choose it. Anybody who will be a leader. Okay, fine. So you. Don't hide yourself. You don't have to reveal that you are the leader. You are the leader now. Now what has to be done is when I say start, sister, the investigator will be invited into the circle, and the leader has to initiate an action. And whatever the leader does, everybody has to follow. And, okay, and not more than 10 seconds. After every 10 seconds, the leader has to change the action. And everybody else has to follow what the leader does. And the investigator has to detect who the leader is. And, okay, you understood? So there is a leader in the group. Whatever the leader does, others will follow. And the leader will change action in every 10 seconds. And you will get 3 chances to guess who the leader is. If you have guessed the leader right, you win. Otherwise, out तो वो पहले से ही है. Circle से out तो वो पहले से ही है. Otherwise, a new leader will be appointed. And then you have to again do the same activity until you recognize the real leader. Okay? Right? So please enter the circle. बीच में आ जाए. थोड़ा आप लोग खुले खुले हो जाइए. You can come up till here. Make a bigger circle. Okay. थोड़ा बड़ा circle बना लीजिए. इधर आ जाइए. थोड़ा खुला खुला हो जाए. And now start. Yes. Yes. Wrong. One guess gone. लीडर को करते रहना है, लीडर को रुकना नहीं है. लीडर रुक जाएगा तो सारे रुक जाएंगे. Yes, yes. Wrong. Wrong. 3 chances gone, sister. Please बाहर आ जाइए. एक और थोड़ा यहाँ दोबारा देखिए. One new leader this time. You don't have to see. See, look at that side. One more leader. Okay. Okay. थोड़ा उधर देख लीजिए, sister. Leader. अच्छा, चेंज करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है. और लीडर को रोकना नहीं है. ये नहीं कि लीडर ने शुरू कर दिया, बाकी फॉलोअर्स काम कर रहे हैं. ये लीडरशिप नहीं होती. लीडर हैज टू डू अलोंग. ओके ओके, आप लोग देख पा रहे हैं? यू आर एबल टू सी? ओके सिस्टर, प्लीज कम इन. कम इन द सेंटर. कम टू द सेंटर. ओके, स्टार्ट. So you have to see. You have to see. Wrong. Last chance. Wrong. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Please, you can come back to the seats. Now, this was not a very big deal. As you saw, it was quite a simple activity. But what... Okay. Once again, a big round of applause for all of the volunteers. So this was not a very big activity, a very simple one. But what did you observe about leadership from this? Or what do you think could have been better as a leader? Or what leadership traits could you observe from this activity? Were you able to get something out of this activity in terms of leadership? What was that? Ji? The team follows the leader. Before that, a leader has to plan, okay. A leader has to be very clear in the vision, yes. The leader has to monitor, okay. Hanji. Leading from the front, yes. Doing it yourself first. Sorry? The leader has to initiate, yes. The leader has to lead from the front, initiate. Yes. Yes, of the followers, not the investigator. Yes. Sorry? Doing it along with the team, carrying it forward through his conscious action. Yes, sister? Sorry? Teamwork. The leader has to ensure teamwork. Somebody was saying something from where? Sorry? Not to be attentive. Identified. जिसको हम कहते हैं गुप्त रहना. A leader doesn't have to show off. Right? Hanji. It is not about... Yes. It's not about being boss. It's about bringing the best of your team members. आप पीछे से, you were saying something? Observation. Who is doing what? See, Hanji. Leading from the front. I'll come back to you, sister. Yes, yes. Right action at the right time. Being part of the team is very important. Yes, sister. Taking people along. Okay, so we welcome Brother Nizar, and as already introduced to you, a lot of things which are natural to a leader, as you rightly said, all of you, we'll have further discussion on this, and as already introduced to you, Brother Nizar Jumaji is with us, and we have this great opportunity that this retreat brings out the best of experiences from the East and the West and the whole of the world. And Nizar Bhaiji, who's traveled so much, brings that wisdom, the blend of wisdom of the East and the West with his personal experiences. And I would request Brother Yashwant, who is the headquarters coordinator of the IT wing, to welcome Brother Nizar with flowers of this campus. And with your applause, we welcome Brother. And without much ado, I would request Brother to share his insights on leading leaders.
Okay? We need it. Okay, good. That English is okay. Because my Hindi, my vocabulary is very low, so when I have to speak in Hindi, my blood pressure goes up a little bit. So thank you. I can see all of you are young people, and hopefully all of you dynamic. All of you are leaders or potential leaders, and I'm very happy to be amongst you. I also understand that you are in the business of providing technology in a world which is now becoming technologically savvy. It's the only thing that's going up, up, up. Isn't it? And people like me, with lots of white hair, have got to make sure that we have people like you who are backing us up. Because without that, you can be just a leader in name. So, the topic today, I'm told, is leading the leaders. And what is a leader? You know, that is something that all of us are constantly striving to be. What is a leader? And you know that in my younger days, when I was becoming a leader, or I thought I was becoming a leader, I had very bad temper and what we call ruling with the gun. I remember when I was driving down my office block, there were French doors there, and I could see everybody as I entered, and I could see everybody getting out of my way in the morning. Because nobody wanted to face me early in the morning because I was like a bear with a sore thumb. Because I ruled with the gun. And when everybody was afraid of me, I thought, well, I am the boss. They should be afraid of me. It's right. They should be. And that was absolutely the wrong philosophy. Absolutely wrong. But in those days, it was natural. There was nobody to come across me and say, listen, you are doing absolutely the wrong things. because you are not incentivizing anybody to get better. In fact, you are bringing them down. But that was the philosophy of those days. And it took time. We had to learn step by step by step what leads to real success is when people are with you, when you are motivating people by empowering them. And empowerment is a great, great tool that so many of us forget, particularly people of my age. We forgot. We forgot what empowerment meant. We had to slowly start talking to people. You know, we had to learn. You know that sometimes in those days when I went to the office of somebody who was a manager or below, they got very upset. How come the boss is coming to our office? Something that we have done wrong. You must call the boss. But that's not anymore the fashion. We need to talk to people wherever they are. It's not something that we need to say, call him, bring him, talk to him or her. So I think these are lessons that we learn slowly. We learned a great deal. And I think that people of your age are learning this right from the beginning. So you are already empowered yourselves and are empowering people who need to be empowered, who need to be leaders. So leaders have to be good in always, they have to be in all round, they have to be rounded in everything that they do. And it's not just that they have all the knowledge in their heads. That's not enough. I think that now what we call mannerism becomes more and more important. Today, because the world is going faster and faster every day, but it's also becoming more and more difficult. Management is now not just a tool, it is something that you have to cope with because the environment is getting such that it's not just easy to be good at whatever you do. That's not enough anymore. You need to be rounded. You need to have a team. You have to have people that are willing to work with you in a nice way, not because you force them to do it. So I think that sometimes people say that I am somebody who says that I am not religious, but I am spiritual. And sometimes the difference is often forgotten. Religion is something from the time you are this high, you are told this is your religion, this is the best religion, all the others are inferior. Isn't it? All of us do that. All of us tell this too. And religion is something where each major religion have selected a day. If you are a Christian, it's Sunday. If you are a Muslim, it's Friday. If you are Jewish, it's Saturday. If you belong to Shiva, it's Monday. And so on. They've all selected a day. And then they say, this is our holy day. We will also observe that as a holiday, but also as a holy day. On that day, we will think about God, we will be pious, we will try and do all the right things. The remaining 6 days, let's do what we want. Don't combine the two. In your language, it does not compute. है ना? Spirituality, on the other hand, is something that you make part of your everyday life. To be spiritual, it means that I am bringing, values is an overstated word, but sometimes you have to use it, because it is, spirituality is about bringing top values in your everyday life. That is being spiritual. Spiritual doesn't mean that you have to wear a certain color clothes and sit in a corner and say Om or whatever it is you say. That's not spirituality. So, we all now, because the state of the world is where it is, things are getting more and more complicated. Where do you go? Children go to their parents, parents go to their elders, elders go to religious heads. Finally, where do you go? So you have to then become internally powerful. I know that this is not a language that most people will talk about being leadership, but that is the language that I have learned over many years, is to bring spirituality into your everyday life. Today you can talk about this openly. Even 15, 20 years ago, if somebody like me, who is a serious business person, got up and talked about spirituality, you say, he's not a serious businessman, because he talked about spirituality and religion and all those things. But it's not the case anymore. We need to bring good values into our everyday life in what we do, to be part of a good leader, to be rounded in all areas. So you can be very good in your own profession and in your professional life, but to be rounded, you also have to bring values into your everyday life and to be spiritual. This is what we do. For example, one of the things that I have done as part of my business life is we have introduced something called the Blue Company Project. The Blue Company Project is where companies can join to become corruption-free. Because more and more and more, not only here in India, particularly in our countries in Africa, it's becoming more and more difficult to survive without corruption. And yet, I have 84 companies under my umbrella, and all of them are working without corruption. And most of them are in the top 25% of their industry. Most of them. One of them, which is called Jubilee Insurance, and you can check this. Jubilee is a publicly listed company. It's number one in its field, in its industry, and zero tolerance for corruption. We now have almost 1,000 members, companies that have joined us. When I was doing something called the Future of Power program in Jamshedpur, I spoke to the then CEO of Tata Steel. And he told me, I would love to do this here in India. And we are hoping that in the next year or so, we will give the blueprint of this to Tata to introduce this in India. So, this is bringing values into our businesses. It's not that we just need to say, if you want to succeed, you have to be corrupt. We are trying to prove every day that you can be successful without corruption. And corruption is a detriment. A friend of mine here is in the construction business. And he told me that corruption here is now regimented. It's almost like it's part of your total cost. You have to take it as part of your total cost. Because if you don't give money for planning, for getting your plans passed, it will not be passed. And so every stage that you move, you have to be corrupt in order to finish what you have to do, which is in the construction industry. But I'm sure that this is also true in others. But we have to still try our best to succeed. We have almost 1,000 companies. And if you believe that India is corrupt, I promise you that Africa is much more corrupt than it is here. Much more corrupt. Countries like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and all of these are extremely corrupt. But we survive. Not only we survive, but as I said, we are in the top 25% of our industry in each of our companies. So we have to be strong, and we have to be powerful, and with that, you can be successful. You know, there are also a series of programs that we are now doing, which are called the Future of Power. And this, we have now run these programs in 73 cities all over the world. We've done it here in India, we've done them in Australia, in America, in Philippines, in lots of countries, Africa. And this whole dialogue is about soft power. Because we need to bring this as part. Because today, it's all about hard power. You know, it's about the kind of power that Donald Trump and Putin and all these warmongers are now bringing in. They're all in place now. You know, the state of the world is where it is because these warmongers are in place. And these warmongers are talking about hard power. Definition of hard power is how much money you have and how much bombing abilities do you have. And now they are talking, every other word is nuclear. Right? We are hearing them, particularly coming out of Putin. If you do this, I will invoke nuclear. But they are not thinking or speaking aloud that it only needs one nuclear bomb to finish the whole world. Because the other countries are not going to sit idle. Now they are timing how long? Is it 2 minutes or 5 minutes before they cross continents with nuclear bombs? So, but they still talk about it. North Korea, look at Russia, North Korea, Iran, all of these countries that are sitting there are talking about this menace of hard power. So in between this, we have to introduce the concept of soft power. And soft power is about, again, bringing values or spirituality into your daily life. And I promise you that to become a good leader, this has to become a part of your everyday life. You can be as good as everything in your techniques and your technology and your profession, but you have to think about bringing soft power into your everyday lives. I think that, I hope that not all of you feel that this is not practically possible, because it is practically possible. When we did this program in Ahmedabad, your now Prime Minister Narendra Modi also attended our program. And he spoke for 20 minutes about soft power. Because it is important, however hard you need to portray. The image of India all over the world until recently has been of soft power. I think that probably the most spiritual country in the world now is India. I'm not talking about religion, spiritual. It is undoubtedly. It was Narendra Modi who introduced the idea about one day a year which should be Yogi Day. What is it called? Yeah, Yogi. So it was he who introduced, and the world accepted it in 1 minute. Because it's coming from the source of that was India. So I think that as Indians, we need to imbibe this again and say this is something which is our heritage. It's not something we are borrowing from anybody. This is our heritage. This is what we have grown up with over generations and generations. And welcome, Shiluben. I think you all know Shiluben, in case you don't. So for generations, this has been the heritage of India. And if you go backwards, the heritage was that the majority of the inventions in the world have come from here. We have not been given the credit for that. Quite a lot of these things are because the colonizers hid the history of India, hid the achievements of India. We should now spend time to publicize what has been achieved. But the point is that all that was achieved under circumstances of soft power. India has never had hard power, never professed hard power. And despite of that, majority of the good things in the world have come out of here. And there's no reason why we should change that. You know that? Who are the top CEOs in the world now? Who are they? Whether you go to America or England or Europe or wherever you go, look at the top companies and look at who the CEOs are. They're all of Indian origin. By all I mean 80%, 70% of the top CEOs are of Indian origin. And I think that this is the heritage that we need to keep here. And don't think of spirituality as something that we go and do this. This is not spirituality. This is religion. Yeah? Spirituality is what you imbibe in terms of values. And we need to bring this into our everyday life. Don't shun it, accept it as being part of your heritage. Particularly, I can speak freely like this when I'm in India because everybody knows. We understand about lots and lots of things. When I speak about karma or the soul, you know, this is something which is second language to all of us. I don't have to explain that anymore, about what the whole situation about karma is, what karmic accounts are. So I think this is something, it's a message that we need to carry with us. How are we doing on time? How are we doing? Are you going to? It's the panel. Okay. Okay, so there's going to be a panel discussion where I think that following which there are also going to be questions. So I hope that all of you will participate in that. Speak your mind. This is what we are trying to do, because we need to get our questions answered. You know, there are lots and lots of things. Some of the questions can be quite serious, you know, that we say there are no answers to. But there is nothing like that. Everything has an answer, and we need to find it. Okay? So, are you going to manage us?
Thank you, brother. And we would like you to please stay back for the panel as one of the panelists.
Okay.
And now we are proceeding towards this interesting panel discussion on being, giving and growing. And Brother Nizar is there with us for the panel, and we also have our respected Shilu Didi ji with us. So we welcome Didi with a round of applause. And I would like to introduce Didi, who is a very special soul, very close to the heart of God. And presently she is a senior faculty member at the Academy for a Better World, Gyan Sarovar.